Well, hello everyone, and this is Mikeratto, and welcome to a new series which we discuss a possible, fantasy matchup or what if bookings of two different superstars which we have dream matches with. And for this first episode, we're going to talk about, well, Steve Austin versus CM Punk. How and this is my what if, and this is gonna be another universe which also, Austin never broke his neck, and thus he is still competing still. Well, yeah. So I hope you all like this video and, enjoy it. So the conditions for this what if is Stone Cold. His injuries, it never come up to him. He is actually semi-retired in this timeline so that we can have this fantasy booking. He is a part-timer who actually, does WrestleMania or SummerSlam events a la like The Undertaker, which, yeah, he only competes on big events as a part-timer. And CM Punk, they actually teased this feud during the WWE 13, I think, which the two had an heated conversation with Jim Ross, I think, to promote the game with their characters still intact. And what way can actually the feud start with after Punk turning heel in 2012, the starting this new feud? The Dream feud actually works. Both are rebels, but their lifestyle are far different from each other. One is actually a beer drinker and one is a straight edge. He believed that drinking and drugs are not suitable for him, and he's actually living the good lifestyle. So the two had different beliefs, though they are anti-management. Stone Cold proved this by actually having a feud with Vince McMahon in 1998 up to 2001, I think, which the two still interacts. While CM Punk by this point, he had a mini feud with Vince McMahon during the Money in the Bank build up. Money in the Bank 2011 build up, and in 2012, while CM Punk had this feud with Vince McMahon yet again, well, during his argument with Vince in 2012 when they actually reenact CM Punk going to the audience for the title. Yeah, they have this mini feud also there. So, how will this feud start, and what is the perfect way to do it? I think that, Rock versus CM Punk was good, but what way could Raw 1000 end with Stone Cold actually saving John Cena from the Big Show? Yeah, instead of, we have Rock versus Cena 2 again, we can have another match for WrestleMania 29 as the main event, don't you think? So, yeah. And earlier in the night, well, let's just say that CM Punk and Austin had a backstage moment with each other. And Punk felt disrespected, but Austin never talked about him having a championship match at the Royal Rumble like The Rock did. If, we're going to have still Rock versus CM Punk at the Royal Rumble, there's one thing that I will change in that match, that is CM Punk retaining. Why? Because he can brag it. The guy who actually beaten Austin for his retirement match, he beat him at the Royal Rumble. He can have that huge heat, providing himself going to WrestleMania against Stone Cold. So the same thing happens, and also, to the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I know that I want to change the Royal Rumble result, and yeah, even though The Rock will announce himself as the number one contender, contradicting to what I said earlier as the number one contender for the Royal Rumble. We'll have Austin challenge out CM Punk for the championship at WrestleMania 29 in the main event. If they want to have Rock versus Cena too, well, it can have the second main event slot, like the Stone Cold versus CM Punk match will be the main event of WrestleMania 29. And as for The Undertaker, well, he can have a match with Big Show or Randy Orton in that matter, or whoever is suitable by that time in the main roster, even Ryback for that matter, whoever it is. So, well, Punk versus Austin is set on WrestleMania. The ultimate babyface versus, well, the ultimate heel that time. And yeah, Punk got all the heat. For the time, for the Royal Rumble winner in 2013, I can have Chris Jericho as the Royal Rumble winner, or even Kane, whoever between the two. Well, considering that Kane by that point is still going with Daniel Bryan, well, yeah, it doesn't make that much sense, but it's time to give him his final full run with the title. Something like that for Chris Jericho. Well, it's time to elevate the World Heavyweight Championship, and he can have this huge run with the title, an entertaining run, more than Del Rio. And yeah, or we can have Dolph Ziggler going up to WrestleMania by cashing in on Del Rio at the Royal Rumble event, or before the Elimination Chamber event, and then Chris Jericho finally getting the W on Dolph Ziggler, thus continuing still their storyline still up to 2013 from 2012. And as for Kane, well, if he wins the Royal Rumble, it's to actually give him the credit, well, because he actually competed in a lot of Royal Rumble matches and he never win one in real life. Well, considering that he is also a dominant person in the Royal Rumble match, well, give him the W in this timeline. Yeah, it makes sense. And well, yeah, he can challenge for it and then win the title at WrestleMania, have his final run. For the build up for Austin versus CM Punk, well, Punk will complain about his frustrations of the part-timer who's been stealing the spotlight from every wrestler who's been competing day in and day out, for the likes of The Rock, who challenged him for the WWE title, the Royal Rumble, who failed in this timeline. He will mention that this guy is actually a remnant of the past, and he, the present, will be still here in the future, even if Hollywood, well, gives him a contract for a movie. Well, he will still return and he will defend his championship up to WrestleMania. And then Stone Cold can have his usual promos, while he can have protecting the legends and all of that, and he can say, I don't give anything about what you said or what you do, because, well, I see myself in you, and we are both rebels in the face of the authorities. And when you are a rebel by your own right, you left the company, you complain about us who's build these companies that you are actually working with, and without me, Stone Cold, well, you won't have that status, and the title won't have the same prestigious something like that. Like the title won't have the same essence or same importance if such legends like him didn't have the title. Something promo like that, something promo like this, he will mention about the past, and he will mention things just like how Stone Cold delivers promo. So Paul Heyman by that time, well, he's also on Brock Lesnar's corner for WrestleMania, and then, well, he is also CM Punk's corner at WrestleMania. So at WrestleMania itself, well, you can have, well, Austin win the title or Punk retaining his title, thus having a huge hit still, and he is still the unbeatable champion by that point. That's the option B. Punk retaining, getting the ultimate hit, and yeah, he is 500 plus days as champion by this point, and he is unbeatable. And you can build future stars who can actually beat him. And yeah, or A, you can have Stone Cold win the title and then drop it on his next appearance, and then even returning the old Smoking Skull belt just for the time being. And even the next champion who will win the title from Stone Cold will have the Smoking Skull belt, or he will change the design of the title to a much better one. So yeah. And as for CM Punk, well, he get the main event of WrestleMania regardless, and he actually got the moment of him versus Austin at WrestleMania. Well, I know in real life Punk versus The Undertaker looks good, and it's actually one of the last best matches of The Undertaker at WrestleMania, considering that at WrestleMania 30 the streak ended. At 31 he actually beat Bray Wyatt. At 32, well, they had only this huge spot at the cell with Shane McMahon actually jumping out of it. In 33, well, he didn't look that much well because of his hip injury. At 34, he squashed John Cena. At 35, he didn't compete. And at 36, well, they have this great cinematic match. But for the ring match at all, well, I think WrestleMania 29 is one of the best last matches. Quote, one of the best. That means possible there are many matches after that it is great. So yeah, that's how I will book this rivalry. Well, the winner will be decided by you. Who do you want to win? Stone Cold or CM Punk? Who do you want the person who will walk out of the title? Stone Cold or CM Punk? And if Punk actually retains the title at WrestleMania, well, they will just introduce a new design after that. Well, a much better design that we have than we have now. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you all like this. Like, comment down below, share, subscribe, and again, this is Mikeratto, and peace.